Good morning, I am Bryant Carpenter, sports editor of the Mariner Record Journal, coming to you late Tuesday night in the midnight hour. I am the Midnight Cruiser, swooping in because all our quarterfinal games just wrapped up. And Spencer, what a night. With the exception of Southington, the Blue Knights suffering a heartbreak against Fairfield Prep, but what a night for our teams. Platt, 12-6 winner at Naugatuck. Maloney comes back to win 20-14 at Middletown. You know what that means? Platt versus Maloney, Sunday, Falcon Field, 12:30 p.m. Every year we have the Stoddard Bowl for the first time ever. First time ever, Spence. You're so lucky to be here for this. Platt versus Maloney, state semifinals. The winner will go to the Class L championship game. We are going to have a state finalist from Meriden. Too much. We might even have a state finalist from Wallingford, because down in Wallingford, right over my left-hand shoulder here, Sheehan behind Terrence Bogan, West Tersey, and all the boys up front. Aaron Simmons, Jordan Davis, 43-20. They beat Wolcott. They advance to the Class M semifinals. They will be playing number 3 Berlin, also Sunday at 12:30. Spence, it's too bad all these games are at the same time, man. That's killing me. But what a night we had tonight. We're going to start at Sheehan. Sheehan led the whole way in this game. But I'll tell you what, 14-6, Wolcott, Anthony Leege, their quarterback, he's tough. He's tricky. Scored 3 touchdowns for Wolcott. He pulls the Eagles to within 14-6 in the second quarter. Ensuing kickoff, Aaron Simmons takes it and just trucks it right downfield for a 75-yard touchdown. And that really was the KO, as was touchdown pass from West Tersey to Jordan Davis with seconds on the clock just before half. Nice 2-minute drill. That puts the Titans up 28-6 at half. Terrence Bogan in the midst of another big night, 268 yards, 3 more touchdowns. SEC Tier 3 Player of the Year. Puts on the exclamation points 1 and 2. Just an exchange of touchdowns in the second half, because by then Sheehan was up to stay, 43-20. First postseason win for the Sheehan Titans since, of course, 1985, their state championship season when they beat Montville 21-7 in the Class SS championship. Spence, do you remember that? You don't, because you weren't even born. I barely was myself. Sheehan Titans, Coach John Ferrazzi, congratulations to them. State semifinalists, Class M. They host Berlin on Sunday, on Sunday, 12:30 down at Riccitelli Field. All right, talk about another team that's had a postseason win for the first time in a long time tonight. Of course, the Platt Panthers. They've only won once in the postseason before this night. It was in 1997 semifinals. They beat Plainville. Spence, that's where you're from. Your old school, your old team. Well, Platt beat them 18-11. Weird score, huh? 18-11 in 1997. And since then, the 2021 football season since then, it was the only postseason win for Platt. It's the thing with the Panthers. They get in the postseason, couldn't win. Tonight they did down in the Valley, down in Naugatuck. Lorenzo Sanson, what a game for the senior quarterback. Runs for like a 63-yard touchdown to put Platt on the board, 6-zip. And then right before halftime, literally, there was no time on the clock. Little 2-yard touchdown pass. Trey Carter showing his basketball skills, showing his ups, going up in the corner in the end zone and pulling it down. Puts Platt up 12-zip at halftime. Naugatuck scores in the third quarter, but Jalen John blocks the extra point, 12-6. And you know what? Platt's defense was phenomenal throughout this game, constantly turning Naugatuck over in downs. Did it a couple times in the fourth quarter to make that 12-6 lead stand up. And what a story, the Platt Panthers. It seemed like their season was over. They lost to Bristol Central, to Middletown. Then they get the forfeit win from Central for the ineligible player. Then they go into Thanksgiving Eve and they beat Maloney. Lo and behold, they're in the playoffs. Lo and behold, they beat Naugatuck. Lo and behold, they are in the Class L semis against Maloney, which had its own fantastic win tonight over in Middletown. Maloney's down very early, 14-zip. Middletown scored the first time they got the ball, extended it to 14-zip. And then Elliot Good got busy, the Maloney quarterback, and another senior quarterback having a fine season, had a fine game this evening. He wound up throwing 3 touchdown passes, 2 to Victor Marquez, Maloney's all-time receiver. He also threw one to Maurice Brackett. The game winner was one to Marquez in the third quarter. Maloney's defense also played big. They forced 4 turnovers. Vincent Martinez, 2 interceptions. Marquez catching balls left and right. Offense, defense. He had the 2 touchdown passes. He also had an interception. Toby Canals, lineman, he recovered a fumble that in the third quarter, Canals with this fumble recovery to start the third quarter, gave Maloney a possession that ends with a touchdown pass from Good to Marquez that put the Spartans up 20-14, and that lead would stand the rest of the way. Maloney's defense, a big fourth down stop in the red zone to preserve it. Maloney Spartans, Platt Panthers. If I said this, I'm going to say it 100 times because we're just giddy. Maloney and Platt, all mirrored in Class L state semifinal. Hey, the winner is going to probably have to go down and play Han, the defending champ, the juggernaut that is the Han Tigers in the state championship. But you know what? You're playing one at a time, and we are really looking forward to Sunday's semifinal. Falcon Field, what a game. We had one other game tonight, and we're really actually a little dumbfounded that we don't have 4 teams advancing to the state semifinals here in this first ever season of 4 playoff qualifiers for us. Southington looked to be in control first half. You know, they took a lead. It was 14-6 at halftime. Jacob Drina, area passing leader, threw a pair of touchdown passes to Carter Lohman. It was 14-6, but, you know, the Blue Knights had a couple costly turnovers in the second half, opened up the door to Fairfield Prep, scores 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. It was tied 14-14 going into that fourth quarter, and Prep scored twice. And then the big play, 4th and 2. About a minute to go. Southington is at the Prep 2-yard line, 4th down. They go to their 1,000-yard rusher, Tanner LaRosa. He went over 1,000 yards tonight. Fantastic season for Tanner. But the Jesuits had him sniffed out on this one. Tanner, you know, broke a couple tackles, reverse field, and Prep got him back at the 5. They wound up getting a first down to ice the game. And even though it was a 4-5 game, a bit of a stunner, Southington was undefeated. Southington's been there before, 13-14 state champs. But they are out of the Class L field, which is now really kind of wide open because, hey, tonight, Newtown beats Darien. New Canaan knocks off top-seeded Shelton. Who's going to win this thing? Who knows? Other than we know it's not going to be the Southington Blue Knights, but we want to tip our cap, as always, to Coach Mike Drury. He runs a fantastic program over in Southington. We wish we had those boys along for what would have been a Sunday Triple Crown in the semifinals. But that was our action tonight. It was a unprecedented quarterfinal night for us, and it's going to be an unprecedented Sunday. Spence, you lucked out, man. This is your first year here. You get all this stuff. You're like the modern day Patriot fan. You know, it wasn't always like that for the Patriots. It wasn't always like that for football in the RJ coverage area. We're really excited to have an all-Meriden semi and Sheehan hosting Berlin. That's going to be a fantastic game as well. We'll be coming to you with highlights from those semifinal games. I know, Spencer, I'm going to have to come back early for my sister-in-law's wedding. That's not going to go over too well with the family, but hey, we are in uncharted waters. We're very excited, and we're glad you tuned in to watch This Week in High School Sports Tuesday quarterfinal edition. I have been Bryant Carpenter, sports editor of the Meriden Record Journal. Be good.